plans. I gather the player reported late for training yesterday and for today's game. It is a disciplinary decision. So Michael Bridges, who started one Premiership game in more than 3 years because of injuries, starts today. Roque Jr. is in for the injured Dominic Matteo, and on loan Jermaine Pennant faces his current employers. Arsenal may have to recall some of the players lent out here and there when the FA suspensions kick in later in the month, but that is the same lineup that drew at Charlton last weekend. For all their trials and tribulations, Arsenal remain the last unbeaten team in the English professional leagues. Unbeaten since Leeds United ended their hopes of winning the league at Highbury 6 months ago. Jermaine Pennant was very much an Arsenal player then, currently on loan to Leeds United. Henry is the target. This is Pires. Peter Reid was confirmed as Leeds manager following that win in May, whatever confirmed means anymore. Nobody at Leeds can be sure of anything in the chilling financial climate here. Campbell across to Paul Smith's progress. Bridges. Kelly's cross. Johnson tried to force it on. Sacco! It's a smart save by Lehmann. Lamine Sacco, who lost his place in the Leeds United Premiership lineup after the 4-0 defeat at Everton a month ago. Recalled today in preference to James Milner. Henry. Pires. Gilberto to Parla. Plenty of appetite and enthusiasm about the Leeds midfielders, and they forced a mistake out of Toure. No Arsenal player was allowed to have possession with any comfort then. Cole. Henry spun his run and now accelerates away from camera and gives Arsenal the lead. The inevitable goal from Thierry Henry inside of 8 minutes. No mercy from Arsene Wenger's team, piling on the problems for Leeds United. And how do you catch Thierry Henry? He just spun the run in order to stay onside, and then the leg race with Camara was no contest, and the finish was typically cool. And Thierry Henry has scored in his last 4 matches now for Arsenal. No change there. And no respite for Peter Reid and Leeds United. One back by Johnson. Looking for Sacco. Lawrence looking for him too. This throw-in. And Arsenal being asked 1 or 2 questions at the moment. Olembe. I think he was just trying to nudge it into the path of Sacco. No harm done. Batty back on the ball. Olembe again. Awkward bounce for Campbell. Batty. Olembe. Right by Parla. Roque Jr. very quick to the ball there. Now he's got some catching up to do as Ljungberg breaks. Nobody with him for the moment, but 3 are arriving. This is Ljungberg. This is Gilberto. This is Pires. That is 2-0. Nobody breaks quite like Arsenal. Freddie Ljungberg appeared to be all alone there, but then suddenly he had 3 for company. Look at where they've come from, inside their own half. Fully 25 yards behind Ljungberg until now, and then he's almost sport for choice. Gilberto can't gather it in, but Robert Pires can. And Arsenal are 2 up here inside 17 minutes. New chief executive of Leeds United is Trevor Birch on the right there. Well, there is a big job. Pennant offered to take over. Got it now. This is Batty. Bridges. Pennant. Batty. And now Bridges. Campbell across. It is a corner kick. Better moments for Leeds United. Johnson takes. Headed away by Toure. Batty's lost out here to Henry. And here comes the Arsenal sprint relay squad again. Bergkamp to Parler. 3 more up with him. This is Dennis Bergkamp. Hits the post. Thierry Henry, 3-0. And every time Leeds United put any pressure on Arsenal, they simply pour down the field in a counter-attack and score. You felt it was coming from its very inception there. So much control, so much movement. Dennis Bergkamp couldn't quite score, but Thierry Henry makes it a dozen for the season, and 3 for Arsenal. Presumably they're going for an early half-time cuppa rather than the cars. To pick his half-time words carefully. Maybe he won't. Ljungberg into the path of Bergkamp, and now Thierry Henry. Well, wipe your eyes, because he missed. Wildly. Nothing wild about the build-up. First touch just took it a little wider than he would have liked. And then he had a bit of a swing at it, really. Devastating Arsenal. 3 more devastating blows to Peter Reid and Leeds United. 2 of them from the wing-heeled Thierry Henry. And Leeds United, who scored 4 goals here all season, need 4 in the second half against the league leaders. Arsenal lead 3-0. It's a month since Peter Reid received his all-too-public vote of confidence. A month in which Leeds have lost at Liverpool and twice to Manchester United here. The fixture computer has a black sense of humour when it throws up Arsenal as your next opponents. Reid has turned to a 17-year-old at half-time, James Milner, as his one change in place of Michael Bridges. One-two between Henry and Pennant, which would be okay in different circumstances. Bergkamp. Ljungberg. It's bowled over by Olembe. He's a midfield player really by trade, but he's played the last 4 Premiership games at left back now and impressed. Bergkamp's free kick. It's found a way through to Pires. Siphoned it into Campbell. It'll come for Gilberto. And Arsenal start the second half as they ended the first, scoring freely. Gilberto adds to the tally. It's the 3rd time in 4 seasons that Arsenal have scored 4 times on this ground. But this time, they've got another 40 minutes still to add to their total. A rather funereal air inside Ellen Road as Arsenal party. Gilberto, their latest scorer. And they are going home already. Just a little loose from Henry. Batty seizes upon it. This is Olembe. And now Sacco! Good save! Lehmann recovered as Smith closed in. There was a flag up against Alan Smith, as it happens. I'm not sure that Smith would have been penalised had the original shot gone in. I'm pretty certain he wouldn't from Sacco. Marvellous vocal encouragement for Leeds United at a time when they need it most. I'm not sure they've ever needed it more. They're sticking together. Smith. Milner. Lennon. Last three names all Leeds born and bred, and here's Alan Smith! And some good news for Leeds United, some home-produced good news, a goal for Alan Smith. Celebrated almost as if it was a winner by some, but 17-year-old James Milner and 16-year-old Aaron Lennon were involved in the build-up. And Alan Smith, who made his debut for the club at 17, turns in what appears to be a consolation goal. But some reward for the Leeds United fans who've stuck with their team in this trying second half. Smith, now Lennon. Still in a march on Warren. Johnson was there and it needed Pires to intervene. Referee had a really good view of Lauren's control there. He's got it back with some help from Lennon. And now Alan Smith hit the post. Now there's an offside flag up now. Lennon was offside when Smith shot. Well, it's unlikely. It would be unbelievable if they did it. But Leeds United are showing enough spirit to think about a comeback in this game. Edu. Tried to poke it through to Parler, it may still come for him. Goalkeeper intervened, it'll come for Henry. Blocked by his own man, Ray Parler. Denying Thierry Henry a hat-trick in the most bizarre circumstances. He can just about afford a wry smile, and so can he in view of the scoreline. But look who stops Henry from scoring. The rump of Ray Parler. Can't quite believe his eyes. Parler to Henry. His hat-trick seemed inevitable at the break, but it hasn't arrived yet. Partly thanks to this man, Ray Parler. It was Ali Adier! And the man with the never-ending name should have added to Arsenal's apparently never-ending goals tally. Jeremy Ali Adier, wasteful. From Ray Parler's perfect cross. Never a dull moment for Arsene Wenger just now. Nothing dull about the way his team have taken apart Leeds United for the most part. Smith and the other young studs have tried to keep Leeds' heads up. Seem to have denied Henry his hat-trick at least. He's fed Ali Adier. He's stopped by Roque Jr. To early fireworks going off. Very little for Leeds United to celebrate at the moment. It was a mismatch at times. Top beating second from bottom with 3 goals to spare. Leeds could end the weekend at the bottom, and who knows what that could mean for Peter Reid. Arsenal, for their part, remain unbeaten and remain the team to catch. Leeds didn't get close today, beaten by 4 goals to 1. Henry speeds run and now accelerates away from camera and gives Arsenal Arsenal the lead. This is Youngberg, this is Gilberto, this is Pires, that is 2-0. Dennis Bergkamp hits the post, Thierry Henry, 3-0. It'll come for Gilberto, scoring freely. And here's Alan Smith, and some good news from Leeds United. Should have had a hat-trick, shouldn't you?
Yeah, I know Rapala didn't want me to score a hat-trick. I don't know if he had a bet on the game or whatever, but you know, it seems like he didn't want me to score my hat-trick. But you know, I was quite lucky on the first one because the ball, the second one, sorry, because the ball hit the post and came back on me. And you know, sometimes that's how it is. But you know, I think the most important thing was the performance of the team today.
Headline news is headline news. I dare say you ignore a lot of it, but can you ignore the speculation about your future?
Well, no, I've been reading that for about 2 years because he had a year that at Sunderland and now I've got it at Leeds, so, you know, watch the space. I'll ask the lads up there who wrote it, so I might find out something in about half an hour, so if you want to hang around, I'll ask you about it.
The job is hard enough without having to discipline one of your leading players.
Well, I mean, without going into, I like, you know, doing them things in private. And it's been done, what I decided, and it's particularly disappointing for me, but, you know, you have to make them decisions.
Now, how do you keep it ticking over? Champions League to come, North London derby next weekend?
Just focus on the next one, and the next one is, of course, a huge one, but in a relaxed way, because I feel we put ourselves under too much pressure in the Champions League, and we have to be, we want to be a bit more relaxed in the Champions League than we are usually, and I think it would suit us better.
Leeds battled hard today, Ron, and their fans, I thought, were terrific. But Arsenal destroyed them on the break, didn't they?
Yeah, well, Arsenal are probably the best counter-attacking side in the league, and I thought Leeds contributed an awful lot to that. I thought Peter Reid maybe played in a very adventurous way. 2 wingers, 2 midfield players who are asked to try and press forward at everything, and I thought that left spaces for Arsenal to exploit. They're the best in the world. I mean, this was early on. Corner, Leeds think they're quite secure there, but there's nobody ringing the box. Just watch, just see the number of yellow shirts flooding forward there now, running past white shirts, and this move actually filters out, and you know, that's a little bit of a let-up, but it's a warning to Leeds. And of course, this is where he loves to operate, Thierry Henry. Senses the right back Kelly's drifted forward. Kamara hasn't pushed over to sort of see him off, and once the ball's in flight there, it's a brilliant take. He's into the space, gets a great little touch, puts him out in front of the keeper. Once he gets into that area, which he gets into an awful lot, nobody's going to stop him. This, to me, highlights maybe Leeds' problem. Look, you see, circled 4 midfield players, and then one little pass from Parler is going to put them out. I think Batty, now at this stage of his career, should be playing just in front of arguably the worst back four in the league, but if you look at the goals against, he should be just sitting in front of the 2 centre-backs and saying, I'm going to anchor and ensure. He shouldn't go chasing the game about. He should be trying to help them out. Look, one little pass, great dummy by Youngberg. They're in again. Only an offside decision cost them. Here see Leeds again, willing, trying to press the ball, get the bodies around the ball, pressing. Now watch this, Bergkamp, a little flip over the top. See how many Leeds players now are out the game, and they're in the top half of the field. Now if you look, you'll see in a minute, it'll come into play in a minute, you'll see Gilberto Silva and Robert Pires arrowed. They're in good defensive position, but they're ready to spring. Watch them spring. Clive Tilsley mentioned it in the commentary. You watch them. They pour forward like the 7th Cavalry. Look at them coming now. And they're overloaded, actually. And, all right, Gilberto Silva might have scored it, but Pires backing up, he's made sure he scored it. And, you know, for me, top-class breaking football.
Why have Arsenal not been able to use that sort of tactic in Europe? They've got a big European match coming up this week, haven't they?
Yeah, well, I've got a theory about Arsenal. Whenever they play in Europe now, teams look at them. You've got to take Henry out. He is obviously the main threat because the goals he gets. And I think the goal, his first goal today, highlights what he does. He loves to let the attacking right back get forward, then he drifts out into the space. I think European teams have wised up to it and said, we ain't going to vacate that space. We're going to be in the space he wants.
Well, they need to win this week. Now, the Smith goal for Leeds, Ali, I mean, did he score it? Because there was a record at stake, wasn't there, for somebody else?
Yeah, the young lad, Aaron Lennon, came on, and it's a great effort from him. I don't know if Alan Smith gets a touch here. Only he will know. This would have been the youngest player ever to score in the Premiership, and we like to clear things up in this programme, so I'm not going to clear up. I honestly don't know if he gets a touch here. Only Alan Smith will know. It's a great ball across. I don't think it's a shot. I think the ball is played for Alan Smith's near post run, but as I say, only he will be able to tell whether he got a touch on that. And in his position, don't get me wrong, I would be claiming it as well.
Even if he'd scored it. Just a word about the Viduka situation, which might not have been clear to all our viewers. I mean, he didn't play today because he didn't turn up on time or something, wasn't it?
Apparently he was late. He'd be laid down. They've got to be there, what, an hour and a half before the kick-off. He hasn't turned up. And really, even though he's in a lot of trouble, and Viduka's one of his better players, has been strong-minded enough to leave him out. It's the sort of thing a manager doesn't want at this stage.
Doesn't need it at this stage, do they? No. OK.
Tense Arsenal faces on a night when the Gunners were trying to avoid the Champions League guillotine, and an uncertain start at a hushed Highbury as Kyiv, who beat Arsenal in the Ukraine a fortnight ago, had a couple of early half chances. Unbeaten in the Premiership but winless in Europe, Arsenal were unlucky when Freddie Ljungberg's shot was saved. The mood had been lifted. Ljungberg came close again, getting the ball past the keeper this time, but Kyiv had come to London initially intent to defend in numbers. Still without the influential Patrick Vieira, stand-in skipper Ray Parlour couldn't find the goal that Arsenal craved. November last year, Kyiv were beginning to sense that perhaps there was more than a point in it for them. Guy Havord, Sky Sports.
I always believed that we could score a goal, but of course we played against a good team, and in the second half physical level dropped, and we had to dig deep to win it, and you never know. They looked always dangerous on the breaks, so it was an open game, and we played with many strikers in the end, so you know that you can get caught on the breaks.
But did it get to the point where you thought, we've had our best chances here, it's just not our night again?
Well, it looks like it was an invisible wall in front of the goal, and we wanted to do it so much. Sometimes when we had the chances, we take a little bit more relaxed in the Premier League, and because we didn't win for a while in the Champions League, we wanted to force every time the goal, and that's sometimes it doesn't go for you.
We dug deep and thought before the game that if we kept pushing them, we'll get a goal, and luckily for me, I was in the right place at the right time.
What a time to get your first goal of the season. You're first in the Champions League as well.
Yeah, I've had a few chances this season, but the lads have battered me for not scoring, but I'm just happy to be on the end of it.
The longer the game went on, do you think we've missed our chances? We've had decent ones?
Yeah, the longer the game went on, we thought, yeah, we've lost it here, but as I said, we dug deep and we've done what we had to do.
Stay top, just 1 point clear of Dynamo Kyiv. Lokomotiv are third. Arsenal stay bottom despite their win. Their next game is against Inter in the San Siro on Tuesday, the 25th of November.
Known as Big Willow. Well, that's a super way to start.
Actually, I'm getting a slightly old-fashioned look from Wilson here, because there's something he wants to see. George, as it actually affects you, I better pander to him and you do the words for us.
Well, I was through. I changed my mind about 6 times here. Slightly lucky I thought to get his fingers to it. But
Trevor Brooking is with me this evening to look forward to the key World Cup games this weekend and introducing you to a sport which most of you will never have seen. Ken, are Chelsea really the most mismanaged football club in the country, as we're led to believe?
Who leads you to believe it, Bob?
Just one little thing though, Ken. Why is it you are so unpopular? Sick as a parrot.
Wilson came out, slipped, ended on his bottom, but managed to get his hand to the ball.
Bob Wilson was signing copies of his recently released autobiography in the Arsenal Club shop this morning. And Willow is the name of a charity in memory of Bob's daughter, Anna, a victim of cancer. The book is called Behind the Network, and he's now going to join us from Highbury. Bob, some great memories there. First of all, fantastic book you've written. It must have been hard to relive some painful memories, but was it rewarding for you?
Well, it's been an amazing experience, Ray. The book's been painful in some areas, but the overall thing at the end of it is I almost can't believe all the things that have happened to me, and I'm just very, very grateful, obviously, for all the experiences I've had and all the people that I've certainly worked with. I've certainly had great memories of my 20 years sitting where you're sitting.
Great memories too of where you're sitting now at Highbury. What's your assessment of Arsenal's season? Top of the table, unbeaten, but in the Champions League, a little bit harder.
Yeah, I'm slightly worried actually about today after the other evening, because they were really, really battling throughout the 90 minutes to get the 3 points they needed. And they put so much into it that I almost feel that the 2 or 3 days in between is hardly enough to then face a North London derby, which is very, very special. And I'm just hoping they've just got the rest that they need to go out today and to face this North London derby.
Obviously, goalkeeping is of paramount importance to you. What's your view on David Seaman's successor? Are you, as the goalkeeping coach down the years, probably one of the first goalkeeping coaches? You turned it into a bit of a science.
Yeah, it's great that I was sort of the first goalkeeping coach, and it's wonderful for me to look now and see that every club has somebody who performs that role. David Seaman was a great student for me. I don't think Arsenal even were taking a risk. I mean, the first guy I ever had to coach, and I put that in, I mean, read it however you want to, was Pat Jennings. I mean, I never taught him anything in the 7 or 8 years we were together. He could have taught me far more, but maybe my enthusiasm brushed off on him. But as Peter's with you there today, he'll tell you, you need somebody there. You need a mentor, you need a sounding board. When things go up, you need somebody to just pat you on the back. When things go badly, you need somebody to put an arm around your shoulder.
And Bob, at their peak, Schmeichel or Seaman?
Oh, no, that's terrible, isn't it?
I've told him not to ask that question.
No.
Okay, then.
Two truly great goalkeepers, the greatest goalkeepers of their decades. Peter, obviously, very different style. And, I think the two of them deserve always to be in there amongst the greatest goalkeepers of all time, not just of their period of time. I think they should be up there along with Banksy and Peter Shilton, Lev Yashin, and do you want me to keep going on until about 5 o'clock tonight?
Don't forget Pat Jennings.
Yeah, Bob, if we had time, I was going to say best punter you ever worked with, Hansen, Hill or Venables, but I won't put you on the spot with that one either. I'll leave you some time to think on that one.
Yeah, well, it's great to be, on the programme again, Ray, and certainly if I miss Pat Jennings out there, whatever you do, put him in that list of great keepers.
Bob, thanks for joining us on Focus. Always great to talk to you. What a legend for Focus and for football.
He's been fantastic in everything he's done, and I think, as he sort of touched on there with David Seaman, he's been absolutely magnificent with Seaman, and I mean they've become big mates. And
he's been absolutely fantastic with Pat Jennings, and
yeah, well,
I just don't want to take any credit. Pat Jennings was one of the truly
yeah.
great, and I grew up watching him, and I mean he's definitely had an influence in the way that he ended up playing.
I can't believe he criticised your style there.
Yeah,
I know well.
And we all grew up watching Willow sitting on the Focus set as well.